Let me ask you something. How many goals have you set that just slowly faded out? It's not because you lack motivation. It's not because you're lazy. It's because you don't have a system for execution. That's exactly why we built the goal getting app, the execution system for Christian entrepreneurs who are done drifting. Inside the app, you don't juggle 10 goals. You lock in one clear 90-day focus. Then we help you break it into weekly needle moving actions, stay consistent with daily execution, and actually follow through, even when life gets busy. This isn't about doing more, it's about finally finishing what you start. Clarity, execution, momentum. If you're ready to stop drifting and actually move forward, go to goalgetting.app/reset and lock in your next 90 days today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Profitable Christian Business. We're doing something a little bit different today. It may look like we normally have a guest and we do an interview type process of a podcast. Kylie is more than a guest today. This probably will become more of a regular segment in the Profitable Christian Business because Kylie and I work together. And some of you maybe know that because you follow both of us, but some of you may not know that. And what we're working on collectively just so goes hand in hand. So what we're going to be talking about today is why people drift and how to finally follow through. I don't know about you, Kylie, but I constantly run into people that seem to be on the roller coaster, right? They start something and they're all excited about it, and a lot of different things can happen, and we'll dive into what those kind of things that can happen and just kind of get them derailed. And what Kylie and I's mission is to help them stay on the tracks, right, and continue to follow through. And we have two different methods, but they go hand in hand. We help each other with both, but my method is more around the strategy and the execution and just staying on course. And we have something called, I think you can see behind me, the Goal Getting app. And we have Goal Getting calls that people attend because it's more than just an app. I think community is a big part of staying accountable, and not just accountable to yourself, but accountable to others. It really helps because I say all the time, you can ignore a tool, but it's very hard to ignore someone that you care about that is trying to hold you accountable and that cares about you. So, so I think a brief introduction from you, Kylie, because first let me say this: if you haven't watched the podcast episode where I actually did interview Kylie, go watch that because you'll really get to know Kylie there. But Kylie, give a brief introduction.
Yeah. So my name is Kylie Schneider. I am the founder of Yana. And yes, please go watch that episode because there was a lot that we went into in that. But just to give you a short introduction. So Doug and I met a couple of years ago, and it's really cool how God really orchestrated our relationship. And so what we do really does go hand in hand. So I'm the founder of Yana. My heart and my passion is really to help people to step into who they are and whose they are and to become rooted in Christ. And so through my journey, God has really allowed me to go through a lot of really difficult things. And now in this season of my life, I have turned them into really a blueprint of how people can really overcome their things. And also my heart is to not be like all the other, I shouldn't say all the other, a lot of other coaches and things out there where you have breakthrough, but then you don't have the follow through and the steps. And so my heart has always been like, how do we get people disciplined and then actually walking in their true calling? And so that's how God is. He's so cool. He brings Doug into my life, who actually had the systems, and it's real time. It was real time for me when that happened too, because I needed systems. And so through our journey, we have just come out the other side, and God has really now in this season allowed me to help people really get the breakthrough that they need. And then with the Goal Getting app and everything that Doug does with the systems, we come together as this beautiful, awesome team where we help people to actually walk out their calling every single day. And so I hope that answered what you were asking me.
Yes. And I don't know if I really need an introduction. If you're watching this podcast, you probably know a little bit about me, but my heart is to help entrepreneurs follow through and accomplish their goals. And that's a long time ago. I did this journal. I'm not going to put it up because there's a bunch of papers in it, but it's called the Profitable Christian Business Planner Journal. And everything has been driving towards helping entrepreneurs succeed more with Christ at the center. And let's just get back to that real quick, is that none of this should be done without Christ at the center, right? And that's what Kylie and I are all about. So uh, we want to guide you based on that most of all. Um, let's get some perspectives, Kylie. Why, like, we're not that this is, it might even seem like it's a debate almost, but you're going to see where we come together um, through this. But my question to you, Kylie, is why do you feel like people struggle to follow through?
Yeah, a lot of people, well, from the time we're born, our identity is really attacked. And so a lot of people, they have big visions and dreams, but they have things that they went through in their life, traumas, they carry wounds around. Their identity has been attacked. And so they're not really confident in who they are. Or a lot of people don't even know whose they are and why we are here on this earth to begin with. And so really helping people to heal, to get back to who their identity is truly and rooted in Christ. And that's why I developed Rooted, my journey, my program. Once they're able to really get back to those things and then understand their bodies, who God created them to be. Our nervous system plays a huge role in our everyday life. And so many people are very undereducated on that. And so, as I has mentioned, my personal journey has really led me to this season where now I'm able to help people and we see and we identify these problem areas that with what they're actually going through and get them back rooted into Christ. And so to answer your question, my biggest belief is that people are not executing and being able to really step fully into their calling successfully because they're held back. Look at Genesis even. We're looking at Adam and Eve, and the first thing that the devil did was cause confusion, right? And so if he can keep you distracted, keep you confused, keep you in your body, keep your nervous system freaking out and keep you unhealed, he doesn't have to do anything else. He can keep you from really stepping into what God's asking you to do. And so that turns into patterns and cycles and repeated behaviors and a little bit of momentum, but then falling back into old ways and old patterns. And so to really allow people to bring, to really allow people to understand these things and then bring them to Christ and have him work through their life leading is really the foundation of everything that I started to do here. And then it works so beautifully with what you're doing.
I love what you said about foundation because you and I have discovered this, and it's maybe that we've always known it, but we really discovered it when it comes to life. But people will show up in our program and they will be lacking foundation because we're systems are already they're proven systems. If you just execute,
Mhm.
you're going to you're going to do well. But there's often a foundational problem where just came to my mind is there needs to be a clearing of the field,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
That, like, maybe they're hanging on to past trauma or other things that are keeping them from actually using systems that will actually help them move
Yep.
forward, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm. Yeah, and I think it's really important to understand too, when you understand your identity and who Christ made you to be, you understand, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so we go through a lot of things. A lot of things that we carry can be, we're going through the spiritual part, but then we're also carrying around, wounds or limiting beliefs or, cycles and patterns. And so we go and we read these books or we take these programs or we do these classes. And I'm not saying anything that's bad. All of that was part of my journey. I was the queen of self help books. But whenever you don't have the foundation laid and then actually heal from, generational curses and trauma and things and get out of that way and then actually use the tools once implement them and you're actually consistent with them, you're going to keep falling back. Our bodies are designed that way. And so that's why I'm really passionate about educating people on that aspect of it and then coming together in partnership with you where we're able to really push them forward, help them walk them forward, and give them the fast track of the things that we've already learned, right? So,
yeah, and part of this, I think it's depends on each person, but I believe both things can be done at once. I believe you
mhm,
can clear the field. I'm going to use
yep.
that term because it's and start to implement the systems at the same time.
Hmm.
Um, so that when you're ready, it becomes a habit, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um,
No, thanks for saying that because I think that I needed to clarify that part too. Because here's the thing we don't want to like just launch you out there without setting you up in a good foundation first, but you do need to take daily actions. Faith is action. It's walking that out. And so that's what I love about what we do, even, with setting the goal planning, because we're able to meet everybody exactly where they're at. Some people aren't at, the same, nobody's at like the same place exactly in life, right? But, some might be farther ahead in their entrepreneur journey than others. Some might be just really starting at the basic roots. This app, you guys, it's helping people to set goals just with even their weight, with their lifestyle, with their choices daily, right? Getting their house structured or, homeschooling, whatever it is, this app is actually so customizable. So it's able to meet everybody where they're at. We have people in it right now that are in my rooted program that are, just learning the basic steps first. And then, that app will grow with you. I use it, you use it, it will allow us to really, it evolves with us as we go. So that was really important. You said that because, yeah, I didn't clarify that very well.
Let's talk about, man, you give me the trigger words right away
Mhm,
because you weren't clear on that. It's a clarity problem a lot of times with people, right? About
mhm,
like they're focused, like a lot of times they're focusing on too many things. They're not really clear on what God has really called them to do or
mhm,
what they're so supposed to be doing. So
yep,
they're running so many different things. None of them are prospering because they're overwhelmed, right? Because they're trying too many things at once, and um, they don't get the amount of focus that they need. And that is one of the reasons that from this app is when I first launched it, uh, I thought, we'll just help them with a lot of goals, right? We'll help them, if they have relationship goals, if they have health goals, if they have financial goals, all that. But what that produced is more overwhelm, right? So we went back to the drawing board and said, if we could just help them focus on one 90-day thing, because
mhm,
starts to become a habit, right? If they can focus on that one thing, not to say that they ignore all the other things, but if they take their primary thing and just show that they can win at one thing, right, and keep moving forward towards that one thing, that transfers into all the other things, right?
yep,
Um, and it's just a matter of making priorities from that. So,
Yeah, and I think you're so great about really coaching with that too, because it's you have the long-term goal and then it's like deconstructing backwards from there. And it's stages. It's what is going to make the most sense? What is going to move the needle, quote unquote, the most right now and to get clarity. I'm so glad that you brought that up because so many people and it goes back to even, I always refer back to this, but to Genesis even, just that distraction, that confusion, and if we are confused about what the end mission is, if we're confused about where we're going, we're just going to keep adding 10,000 things in. We're going to be doing things that are meaningless and thinking that we're actually being productive with that. And we live in a society right now that everything is at your fingertips. There's things coming in. It's an overload of information. So that keeps us really distracted from what we're actually doing. And so to simplify it, to bring things back into that perspective, Doug, I love that's the way that you designed, so much of this app is to really make it more simple, but so much more effective. And it's literally a tool in your hand to execute. I love that.
let me ask you this because I think this would come from a stronger perspective from your side. Um, do you encounter a lot of people that just don't have the um, I'm not I for lack of a better word right now, confidence that they feel like they don't have the ability to accomplish what they want to accomplish.
Hmm. Yeah, and a lot of that comes from, well, that's a big loaded question. A lot of it does come from, just limiting beliefs and things that we've gone through in our lives, right? But I do believe that clarity and being able to actually map something out, say, okay, I'm going to set this goal. And then when they're able to meet that goal, that builds confidence, right?
Mhm.
That builds, okay, yeah, well, this is achievable. Like I'm going to take out all the other things and I'm going to focus in here. And then they start seeing these results happening. They start seeing um, the fruits of their labor. When they start seeing that starts to build that seed in them. Okay, yeah, I can do this. Now I can go to the next thing. And so many people, I believe, that we are seeing in the entrepreneur space that are failing is because they're trying to take it on all by themselves. They're trying to do it from, these limiting mindsets and also just overwhelm. and too much going on. And so, yes, I definitely think that that is a big part of it.
A lot of times, I'm not saying this is every time, but it's not they're failing from lack of ability, it's they're failing from lack of focus and structure. They're misdiagnosing it. They're
Yep.
saying I'm not capable, but you're capable. You don't just don't have the focus and the system in order to do what you need to do. And we all need to develop skills in different areas in order to grow in those areas.
Mhm.
But there's also a process to getting those, making sure those skills. Just to kind of give you part of my own journey is I used to just read so many self improvement books. But the problem that I was encountering is I was reading self improvement books that weren't for the season I was in.
Mhm.
Right. So you
Yeah.
need to be a lot more um, strategic in what you're applying to the season that you're in and what you're trying to accomplish. Like some of the books that I was reading were like 10 years away from where I
Yeah.
was. Right.
Mhm.
So another way that we help people is we help like define the season that they're in and what strategy works best for the season that they're in. Right.
Yeah.
So
Mhm. 100%, and that comes with I'm just such a component on pushing this, but it's surrender, right? It's laying down, okay, this is where I'm at, and God, can you show me and then bring the right people around me? And that was literally the prayer, you guys, if you go back and listen to the episode that I did with Doug. I was in a season of overwhelm. I knew I had this big calling on my life. I knew that God was leading me to do these big things with Yana, but I didn't have the systems. I didn't have um the tools in place. And I literally prayed, God bless me indeed and put me on the hearts of the minds of the people I'm supposed to do life with. And an hour later, Doug came into my life. And so with the tools and the things that he had, and then the training that I had, it was a journey though. It was a walking it out. And so Doug, I was like you. I was the girl that had every self-help book that there could possibly be at all these trainings. We're in this world where, motivation is everywhere. Getting hyped up, getting in your emotions. Let's just do this. Let's power through this. And you guys, we overcomplicate it. And so that's what rooted is. That's where we come back and we really learn to heal our nervous systems and to regulate and those things. And then with the partnership with Doug, we're able to walk out daily, but simplify it. Really to get clear, like you're saying, simplify things and then take those daily steps. But then the awesome part about this as well is I don't know, one of the books that I have read that's really great is Who Not How. I
yeah,
love that in our community, Doug and I have access to so many top coaches and leaders, and then we're able to bring those workshops and things into our app that we're actually giving you access to that most people wouldn't have access to. And we're able to really build that around where you're at. And so I love that you brought that up because we want to give you the information. We want to help you because we've walked through it, like I was just sharing,
mhm.
but we understand the process now. God really equipped us to be in this season where we can give you the blueprint and help you to walk it out. And so, Doug, do you want to touch on that a little bit more about just the workshops and things? Because I think that's such a huge part of this.
I do, and I it was such an epiphany to me, and I think it all comes back from my own story, my own journey, how um, we all have shiny object syndrome, or many people do, right? I'm not going to label everybody, but a lot of people have shiny object syndrome, and um, it's from that lack of focus and um, around again reading. You read the books, you take the courses that are for you in that season, but some people will just take a pivot, like all kinds of pivots. Maybe I should try this, and this, right? But these workshops, the way it works in the app is based on what the goal you set, the struggles that you identify in the app, the things that you're actively working on daily and weekly. It's going to recommend the right workshop for you in that season. It's not going to give you some kind of shiny object to chase. It's going to tell you, okay, just for instance, if you need help, like you know, you're really good at what you do, but you're not very good at sales, right? And you want to improve in that area. And you have it, and you need sales lead to revenue, right? So you have the type of business that somebody has to hop on a sales call, or at least I don't care. No matter what business you're in, you're almost always in sales, right?
Mhm.
So you that workshop will be recommended to you how to improve in sales, right? everything from leveraging how to take more profit out of your business. There's so many workshops in there that are going to just feel like it's going to have that feeling like this came to me right when I needed it.
Mhm.
Right. So
Yeah, and it does, and it's so cool. It's seriously, it just really, again, I keep saying this, it really just simplifies where you're at and helps you meet you where you're at and actually give you information that is going to help you with now instead of overloading you on just stuff that's not really pertaining to what the season that you are in. And so I love that. And like I said, I can't stress enough the ability that God has given us to really bring these people that you wouldn't really normally have access to. You're gonna be forking out a pretty good chunk of money to go get, training from them in other ways where we really our heart, Doug and my heart, first and foremost, is to be stewards of what God has given us and to really help you, you know, um, and lead with knowledge first, lead with value first, right? And so I just love that this app is really allowing us to do that. And it's something that we really, really believe in. And it really means a lot to us, I think that's my favorite part of all of it.
I I love that you said to lead with value. There you go. Teeing me up again. That is one of the core principles of what we do is leading with value. And you can um, probably track somebody down and that's in our goal getting program now, or somebody that I've just had random conversation with, and they'll be like, I just had a woman the other day say, you know, I was just chatting with her in DMs trying to help her out with her problem, and she said, "You helped me more than 6 webinars put together uh,
That's awesome.
in a
Mhm.
short amount of time," and that's um, before I even told her we had an app,
Mhm.
right? So because
Yeah,
what's the phrase? Like people care more that you care about them than what you know, something like that. There's an exact quote out there, but it's something like that, right?
it's so true. And so many people right now just really with the world that we're living into, really are just seeking a lot of simplified clarity and direction and really momentum in what they're creating. And so that's what we want to bring to you guys. And I'm so excited and encouraged by the results that we're starting to see already. And you just said it, like some people tell you those things. I have actually testimonials that I haven't been putting out just because I don't know. But I need to put them out more. But just seeing what God's doing in people's life, the breakthrough that's happening, I'm just really, really honored to walk this out. And so just to kind of reel back in and just to make this I want to touch on this. So the Rooted program is a 6-week journey. And then through that process, you guys, we have a weekly goal getting call. So that's every Tuesday and Thursday, right? 10 for both, I believe.
Monday and Thursday.
Monday. Did I say Tuesday? What is
Yep.
Tuesday? Monday. Yep. See, that's why I ask you. Every Monday and every Tuesday, or every Monday and every Thursday, where we actually have these incredible calls where entrepreneurs and, people all walks of life really are coming to and are able to be in that community, able to ask questions. We always tell people, jump on the call and you can like hop off whenever you want or just stay for your time. But people are staying from the beginning to the end. And sometimes we're going almost 2 hours, but it's so much value and really just helping people to be heard and seen and supported. And then in combination with this app, I'm so excited about how that's going to give the daily structure and then be able to also, provide this 6-week program. I just launched Rooted in this format for the first time. I've been doing a lot of coaching for years, but this is something that we're doing cohesively. And so it's just look at that God timing too, right? It's just incredible. And so our invitation to you guys is to really step in and pray about it. We're not here to force something on you. We know the value that's here. It speaks for itself, but we really want to give you the information. That's why we wanted to have this podcast today to talk about this is because this is so exciting and we can't get the information out if we don't share it. And so, you know, pray about it, but check out what we're doing. There'll be more testimonials. There'll be no more videos. We'll be talking a lot about this. We're so excited to bring it to you, but yeah. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you wanted to share on it, Doug?
There's so much. I think again, I think we make this an ongoing segment on the podcast because I think there's a lot of ways to help people around like why they drift and how to stay on course and
Mhm.
whether like a lot of the questions people ask themselves is like, is it because I'm not disciplined? there's a lot of different questions that people ask themselves that we can give them clarity on. A lot
Yeah.
of times it's not the answer they think. Maybe they have that limiting belief that they're just not disciplined. But
Yeah.
there's reasons why they think that, but it's something that can be fixed.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like I want to go down that rabbit hole, but we're not going to.
No, it's
um,
okay. It's important to talk about that though. And the drifting, I mean, it's a real thing. That's why we put the tools in place that we have, and we are really passionate about this. We see the cycles every day that people, we start to see them drift, and we're like, okay, come on, come back. Let's reel you in. And that's what I remember praying, God, just get me through this stuff, and I promise I'll turn around and help every single person I can. And I know it's true for you, Doug, too. God turned us into the people that we always needed, and we literally in our hands have the fast track version of like, okay, let's get through this a little faster, but with support, with community. We built this. What do we even call it? I don't know. It's a vessel. Like, come hop on with us,
this
and
ecosystem.
yes, ecosystem. And with that, I want to mention we have weekly Bible studies too. Every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have the women's Bible study. Every Monday morning, we have Forge men's Bible study, which is at 9 a.m. And then we have Yana on Sunday nights, which is a community that's called The Gathering. So we have lots of things, and we have the workshops going constantly and stuff too, in combination with these things. So it really is an ecosystem, you guys. And so
Yeah.
I'm pumped up.
I think I might have already said this earlier. We wouldn't have done the app without. I think it divinely came together the way it did because community came first,
Hmm.
right before the app. Because
Hmm.
the community, like you said it before, the who not how. We have seen all kinds of times where people have met on the goal getting call that could serve one another, right? Hey, I know someone that can help you. I know I know a potential client for you.
Yeah.
Those type of things happen in community, right? Because we all care about one another's businesses so that we are trying to serve one another as Christian brothers and sisters, right?
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah.
so beautiful.
And seeing the relationships building. That's one of my favorite parts too. Is just seeing the relationships building and the friendships forming. And we really are like a big family. And it's just growing, every day. So yeah, it's so honored.
What I want to invite people to do, Kylie, we'll put it on the schedule, maybe even next week to do another one of these podcasts. But
Okay.
um, what I want to invite people to do is go to, uh, let's do a 90-day reset. So you can learn exactly how the app works. We've got a little mini thing take you. I'm just going to exaggerate and say it'll take you 10 minutes because I don't think it'll take you that long. But if you go to gogetting.app/reset, we'll put that link. We'll also put the link to Kylie's previous episode below where I interviewed her so you can learn more about her. But go to gogetting.app/reset and walk through that process, and you'll get some clarity, right?
Mhm.
And you'll get some executable steps, which is, I think, what a lot of people are seeking right now. And
Yeah.
once you get that, you can come into the community with us and get those timely workshops, get on the goal getting calls where you actually have some face to face accountability and strategic structure that comes into place, and people to steer you away from shiny objects to keep you focused. Um,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
go do that.
Yeah. I'm really excited to hear from you guys too, and to see really what God has in store for you and walk alongside you as well. And so we we just like always says it, let's keep moving forward, right? We get to keep moving forward. And I don't want this year, I think for so much of my life, and I think you can relate with this, Doug. So much of my life, I wanted this is gonna be the year that I execute these things. It's gonna be the year it changes, and then you start good and you start strong and then it fades. And so don't let this be a year where you're, you know, getting to January and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I wish I woulda, coulda, woulda done those things, right? Take this opportunity and really pray about it. And we hope to see you.
I'm going to tease the next episode because I feel like this is like in the back of people's minds. This is what's happening. So this is the hook for the next episode. Full disclosure: life happens, right? What do you
Mm,
do when life happens? Because it all happens to all of us, and it seems
hmm.
like it can derail us. But Kylie and I are going to show you next episode. We're going to discuss that and talk about ways that you can still stay on, keep moving forward.
That's good. That's so good and needed. So I can't wait. I'm excited.
All right. So until next time, everyone. keep moving forward.
Mhm.
Thanks for checking out the Profitable Christian Business Podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and share.